Hey y'all, I'm Summer. What's up? Yesterday, I officially got my Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star palette in the mail, so I decided to do a video comparing the shades of the palette to YA book characters. So not gonna lie, I was too pumped, so I already took it out of the pink box with the Jeffree Star tape and all that. So here's the box it comes in. It's the spiral with the writing in gold. You've probably seen it on a million people's videos by now. So the palette's actually a lot thicker than I thought it would be. It's really big and chunky, but I really like it like that. I really like its design. It comes up kind of like a pyramid, just like it looked like in the video. And then of course it has the two little hooks to open it. I'll go ahead and insert a clip right now of a close-up of the shades of the palette, just so you can see if you didn't get a chance to grab one. But I really like this palette. I really think the shades are pretty, and I like how there's basic shades, but then also the more vibrant shades in case you want to go for a more dramatic look. I'm definitely not a pro at swatching. So Ranch is like a shade that you would use on your brow bone or on your inner corner of your eye maybe to brighten up your eye look. So for Ranch, I went with Cress from the Lunar Chronicles because I feel like she just always brightens up the mood. She's just like a really brightening, happy presence. I'm so pale, it matches my skin tone, but it's fine. That is like a really good white though, like it pops. It still pops. Okay, the next shade is My Peels, which is like a really light pink, and it's probably gonna blend in with my skin like perfectly. That's what it looks like. I don't know if you can see that, but for my peels, I chose Lara Jean from To All the Boys I've Loved Before, that whole series. I feel like if there's a color that just describes her character, it's that color because it's just her aesthetic is like a light pink color. These like pastels. I feel like that's something she would wear. The next color in here is Tanacon. We Live a Scandal. This is like a light brown. I'm thinking like a transition shade. It looks like this. So for this shade, I'm gonna go with Simon from the Mortal Instruments series. And you might be thinking, what the heck, how does Simon match this light brown color? But I'm thinking it's a transition shade, and so you need it. It's like, you don't want them harsh lines, so you need a transition shade always to blend out. It's a shade you're always going to need, and Simon is somebody we always need. He's always coming in and saving the day. He never dies even after 5 million people try to kill him. It just made me think of Simon. The next shade is Diet Root Beer, which is like a darker brown. So for Diet Root Beer, I'm gonna go with Citra from the Scythe series. Now I love the Scythe series and I love Citra as a character. So the reason I'm choosing Diet Root Beer for her is because Diet Root Beer looks like it would be more boring in the palette and just another brown, but I think that it is a good darker brown to use for like a more neutral look. So I'm associating it with an underrated shade, and I think that Citra is an underrated character. She's one of my favorite female lead characters. She's just so awesome. And so I think she's a little bit underrated, and that's why I'm giving her this shade. I just think she's an awesome character, and that's why I think she's underrated. I'll probably wait till the end and then show all the swatches on my arm because I think that's just the easiest way to do it. Okay, the next shade that we have is Just a Theory, and this shade is looking really pretty, really sparkly, so Definitely a shade I'm living for. So for this shade, I went with Tessa Gray. She's from the Infernal Devices series, but this is the only book of Cassandra Clare that I have with me right now to show. But Tessa is just one of those characters to me that is really pretty, but in an elegant and subtle way, and that's why I associate this shade with her. The next shade we have is Spiraling. For Spiraling, I decided to go with Babe, a character from Christine Riccio's new book, Again But Better. I feel like Babe would use this color because she was described as always being dressed up, and she could probably make a really cute smoky eye look using Spiraling. The next shade we have is Conspiracy. Conspiracy's like a really shimmery color, almost like a gold undertone. And for this shade, I've decided to go with Aiden from the Illuminate series. Aiden, if you haven't read the book, is a form of artificial intelligence. I feel like this shade is just giving me Aiden vibes. It's almost neutral, but then it has the glitter shimmer undertone to it. But the shade itself is almost a neutral. The next shade in the palette is Pigment. This is a really good pink color. So this shade is a medium pink color, and it's giving me like cute, sweet, innocent vibes. So I paired this color with Winter from the Lunar Chronicles, and I think she matches it pretty good. This seems like something she would wear. It's not too crazy, but it's just a cute pink. So the next shade we have is Food Vibes, which is like a very bright yellow color. That's what it looks like. For this shade, I'm going with the character Apollo from Rick Riordan's The Trials of Apollo series. The reason that I actually picked him for this shade is because it's a very bold, bright shade, and I feel like that matches his personality. He always wants to be the center of attention. He's definitely very outgoing and showy, and that's why I feel like this shade matches him. The next shade we have in here is Trisha. Now this shade is very bold, but I feel like it might be my favorite in the palette because of how sparkly it is and pink. So it looks like that. For this shade, I'm actually going to go with Lola from Lola and the Boy Next Door. Now I picked this shade for her because I know that she likes to dress up a lot in different types of looks. She really likes to experiment with fashion, so I feel like she's the only character that could probably pull this off. The next shade we have in the palette is Cheese Dust. I am living for the little pig imprint in that one. And this one's super vibrant, which I love. For this one, I went with Annabeth Chase from the Percy Jackson series. The reason I went with her is because I feel like she has a certain spunk like this orange shade does. She's fiery but also loyal. She can be patient but also don't get on her bad side because she will fight for those she cares about. The next shade we have in the palette is Flaming Hot. This is a really nice red shade. For this shade, I went with another character from the Illuminate series, and that is Katie Grant. I feel like Katie is super fiery and super ready to fight for one she loves, similar to Annabeth, but Katie just kicks it up a notch. Next, we have the shade What's the Tea? This is like a really pretty blue shade. It's a light blue. And again, I love these little details like the teacup he has in here. So that's what it looks like. For this shade, I chose Kath from the Fangirl series. This shade to me just looks like a shade that she would wear, and it's kind of a more chill shade, mellow and calm. That's the vibes I'm getting, and that's the vibes I get from Kath as well. And the next shade is Diet Cola. Kind of similar to Conspiracy, but it looks to be more silver. Yeah, it's a really pretty silver. Looks like that. This might seem kind of random, but for this shade, I chose Percy Jackson. And something about this shade just screamed Percy to me. Like, it just seems very aqua, giving me water vibes. I don't know, it just looked really Percy to me. I can't really explain it, but right when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that one's Percy. The next shade we have is called Not a Fact. That's pretty. It looks like this, like a really dark plum color. And for this shade, I chose Nehemia from the Throne of Glass series. This shade is just giving me like royal, strong, independent woman vibes, and I'm living for it, so I felt like it matched Nehemia perfect. The next shade we have is Sleep Paralysis. This shade looks very glittery. Yeah, it is. It looks like this. And for this shade, I chose Magnus Bane. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. This is a very extra color. It's really sparkly, and it has like almost like a purplish or gray undertone. It's just giving me very Magnus vibes. This next shade is Illuminati. It's this super pretty dark green glitter color. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really pretty. And for this shade, I have decided to match it with Selena from the Throne of Glass series. And this is giving me like, it's a dark green with glitter, so it's giving me like mysterious almost vibes, and that's kind of what Selena gave me in the beginning of the Throne of Glass series, so that's why I matched that one with her, because she's an assassin. She's mysterious at first before we get to know her, so I feel like this is giving me very assassin vibes. And the last shade in the palette is My Rides Here, which this one was hard to match a character with because it's just black. But I finally decided that black is in almost every palette, so it's kind of a basic shade to have, but it's useful, so that's good. But since it's in a lot of palettes, so it is considered kind of basic, I thought I would pair the black with a basic character. So I chose America Singer. I think America is a super basic character that definitely didn't have that much depth. But the selection series is just so addicting, you want to keep reading them all anyways, just to see what happens. So she's likable, but she is very basic. Okay, so my overall thoughts on the palette, I really like the palette. I think the design and packaging is really pretty, and the shades are really pretty too and super pigmented. I'll put in some close-ups of my arms so that you can see all the swatches up close. I'm really impressed with this palette overall, so comment down below and let me know if you got one, and thanks for watching.